What's up, y'all? It's Sagi. With Sagiecenter, I'm back. I want to thank everybody that's been supporting me from the jump. Been getting great feedback, and part of why you see me at my face again is because a lot of people say I should bring back the video. Of course, the Google podcast, all the podcast platforms, I'm gonna have my podcast on there still after this show. You can still hear what I'm talking about right now in video on there. But definitely want to bring back the video. So much to talk about in the NBA, in the NFL as well. So much going on in the world. I definitely want to say for the people in Texas, we're praying for you guys. I know you guys were hit hard with that storm. And everybody else, even around, even in Chicago, we got hit with like almost 2 feet of snow. And we're still getting more snow. So I just want everybody to stay safe. Continue to, check up on loved ones. It's a tough time right now. So continue, everybody stay safe. But, to get to it, we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about the NBA, the starters. They were dropped on Thursday. I'm going to start off the East. The East back starting guards are going to be Bradley Beal and Kyrie Irving. Very excited. Front court players, you have Joel Embiid, Giannis, and Kevin Durant. With Kevin Durant being your captain. In the West, you have your 2 starting guards, Steph Curry and Luka Doncic. Your front court players, you have Jokic from Denver. You have LeBron James for the Lakers. And you have Kawhi Leonard from the Clippers. I think that's a great roster. And LeBron being the captain, of course. Again, being a leading goal-getter. I just want to say this is LeBron's 17th. I'm going to repeat it again. This is LeBron's 17th straight all-star start. It's amazing, man. I just want to continue to say how great that guy is. You guys can have your debate about the GOAT. I've always tell people I'm an MJ guy, but, man, LeBron is doing his thing, especially he only had like 25 days of rest or something like that. Crazy. But there's been some controversies, a little bit, not as much as other years of people getting the start and being a starter. One, especially in the West, a lot of people felt Damian Lillard should be a starter. And I can't rebuke that at all. I love Steph. I love Luka. But both of them, Dame is over me. I have Dame over both of them, not only in MVP race, but also just what he has done. People don't realize Portland is 4th in the West right now. 4th in the West. They haven't had C.J. McCollum for close to over a month and a half. They have not had their center Jokic all year. Not all year, but almost the same time frame, and they're not expected to come to either right before All-Star break or you. And this has been something that's been going on with Portland for a while. Like Portland, for years, they've been injury, but Dame's continued to come in day in day out, and he's not getting his respect. Like I said, I love me some Luka. Luka's probably right now one of my favorite players to watch. I love Steph Curry. Steph Curry's been on a tear, but if there's a person maybe that shouldn't have been on that All-Star nod, maybe it's Luka. It's crazy to say because Luka's almost averaging a triple-double, but Dame is not getting that respect, and his team is 4th in the West. Like that's something I feel was disrespectful to him. But hey, 50% is fan vote, 25% is player vote, and 25% is media vote. I think the media don't respect him as much. I think his peers respect him. The fans, of course, we know that's a popularity contest. Dame plays in Portland, a smaller market. Luka plays in Dallas, a little bigger market than Portland, but also Luka has a whole country behind him. So we can see how that voting can turn out. So I think that's in the West. I didn't really see any controversy in the front court. AD has not been playing like a starter this year. There's even talks if he was even going to get in the All-Star game, which I think is ridiculous. But again, I'll talk about that in a few. To go in the East now. Kyrie Irving, I think he's well deserving. Even though he took 2-3 week hiatus or something, I think a lot of people pointing to that. Bradley Beal is the one that a lot of people are interested in. And let me say this: Bradley Beal has been leading. This is his 2nd year in a row, averaging about 30. He's a great player, amazing player. Superstar in my opinion. But his team sucks. It's simple like that. He could score 40 or 50, they still lose on a given night. And they have Westbrook, too. I really think winning and we all know this, winning does matter. I understand you sometimes, you know, you have a team, but in Bill's point, and I respect his point of view, he wants to stay with EC. He didn't say he's refusing to get trade. He doesn't. He hasn't. He said he hasn't requested a trade. He doesn't see that. But one thing I want Bill to understand: when your team is not producing, and you may get this All-Star nod this year, but last year you didn't get that nod, and you were averaging 30. And don't be surprised if you don't get an All-NBA this year. When your team is losing and sucks the way they do, it's a reflection of you. And that's going to be part of what I'm going to talk about with the reserves too. There are a lot of players who are, for me, it's easy to be a killer, average so many points on a bad team. But how does that transition when you get on a good team? We've seen players in the past. One, for example, Kevin Love and Chris Bosh. Before they came and played with the big three, I think they were, well, Kevin Love was averaging like 25, 26, and 10, 11, shooting like 2 threes a game. Came to Cleveland, numbers dipped. It's easy to play well when you're on a bad team and to show out when you're on a bad team, but when you play with winners. So one thing I hope Bradley Beal does get on the winning team and see how that does. But I think he's deserving of an All-Star nod. Only few people I would probably maybe considered over him as a starter in the East would have been Harden. Of course, he's in a winning team, but it's hard to put Harden in there when you already have Kyrie in there and you have KD as a starter. I think that would be the first time in NBA history you would have 3 players on the same team being not only on the All-Star team, but they're all All-Star starters. So I didn't think that was going to happen. Jaylen Brown is my biggest one. And if people haven't been watching, Jaylen Brown is hoping. Yeah, he's not averaging 30, but his team is top 3 in the East, top 4 in the East. He's hoping, and not to take away anything from Bradley Beal. I love him as a player. I think he should have been an All-Star last year. Still think he should have been an All-Star this year, but I want people to understand what goes into the voting, especially now with the coaches, now with reserve, because it brings me to my next topic with the reserves. Like, I'm predicting my reserves, and it's funny because shout out to Mike, my boy Mike, Mike O in my fantasy basketball group. We actually just put a bet on this. I betted $100 that Zach LaVine is not going to get an All-Star nod by the coaches. And it's not that I don't think he deserves it, because Zach LaVine is almost averaging 30. He's with 5 assists and 5 rebounds. That's a great numbers. The Bulls are just outside the playoff pictures. They're, I think they're 9th in East right now, which will be qualified kind of for, they'll be the first team to do the playing game. But again, it goes back to winning records. You have, people in front of him who are well deserving of it. I had this debate about Ben Simmons and him. The reason why Ben Simmons will make the All-Star team over Zach LaVine, or even if it's not Ben Simmons or Tobias Harris, the Sixers are number 1 in the East. There's no way you're not going to give the Sixers 2 All-Stars. Brooklyn is number 2 in the East, and they're more than likely going to get 3 All-Stars. So you have to give Philly a second All-Star automatically. Some people may think they even deserve 3. I won't be surprised if the coaches vote in both Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. I would not be surprised at all. But I don't think it's going to happen. But one of them is going to get in. So you have, and Ben Simmons is considered a guard. You have 7 slots remaining left in the All-Star team. So my All-Star reserves that I was telling Mike about, I don't think Zach LaVine deserves a nod over James Harden. No. James Harden his first game was like 30 and like 11. Since he's been with Brooklyn, he's been leading the league in assists. And he's still averaging like 20-something. Shooting well efficiently. That's how I've probably seen James Harden shoot in a while. He's not going to make it over Jaylen Brown, a two-way player who's averaging about 24. Great on defense. He's probably going to be all-team defense at some first or second team. So that's 2 guards already. And then Ben Simmons. A lot of people, that's the debate, because Ben Simmons doesn't score as much as Zach LaVine. I don't even think Ben Simmons has averaged 20 points in the NBA so far. which I understand, but the game is more. The game is more than scoring. Ben Simmons is leading the league in defensive win shares and defensive rating. I think he's my front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. That's just my opinion. I thought he should have probably won it last year. If it was anybody to win it over AD or Giannis, it would. I thought it should have been Ben. He should have been more considered for it. But that's already 3 guys already. And again, it's not me thinking Zach LaVine is not an all-star. Zach LaVine, I think, in the last month is leading the league in fourth quarter points, which is very impressive. Again, I believe Zach LaVine is an all-star, but it goes back to my point, like I was saying about Bradley Beal. You already have Bradley Beal in the all-star game, and he's coming from one of the worst teams in not only in the East, but in the league. So what message are we sending? So you put Zach LaVine there, yeah, they're in the playoffs, but it's still, again, not a great team. Again, it's easier to show certain qualities when you're not playing on a good team versus when you play on a. And it's not to take anything away from Zach LaVine. I think he's definitely a number 2 star on a championship team. I don't think he's a number 1, and that's not taking anything away from him because there's only probably like 5 or 6 number 1 players on championship teams in the league. So he's definitely on a short list of number 2 players, and I think he's better than a lot of options. I would, if I was Milwaukee, actually, I would trade Middleton for Zach LaVine right now. I'm not a Middleton fan. I'm not a Chris Middleton fan, and some people would say, oh, his game he shoot, but he's not that. It's not effective. I think Zach LaVine would be a much complimentary player to Giannis. But again, it's not taking anything from Zach LaVine. If he made the All-Star team, I'll be happy for him. I think he deserves it. So it's not meaning that he's not well-deserved. I just feel there's other more well-deserving guys in the East, especially on winning their teams. And then you get to the front court players, you still have somebody like Jason Tatum who's going to get in there for sure. He's going to get in there easily. Then you have another player like, I've been hearing Bam from Miami. Miami's been coming up and up now. I think you have to also look into the Pacers. The Pacers, Sabonis, he's having a great season. I think he should get a nod too. And the Pacers number 5 in the East. Then you still have to come down the line. You still have other players that you could put in there. So it's going to be tough for him to get in there. I think that, of course, if somebody gets hurt, he should be one of the front players. Another player that's actually, I would maybe take Zach this year over him because their teams are identical records. But again, the games haven't happened in Atlanta. Trae Young. Trae Young's having not a Trae Young year, but he's still doing very well, and they have the same record as the Bulls. And again, like I said, the game's in Atlanta. So does that give a nod? And more coaches see Trae Young play. So like I said, it's going to be a very interesting All-Star voting. I don't think Middleton should get in. I'll be very upset if Chris Middleton gets into the All-Star game again this year. I think you give him his 2, let him go about his business. He's doing decent this year, but I don't think he's well-deserved an All-Star nod, especially now that actually Milwaukee just won their first game in 6 games yesterday to the Thunder. And I know Drew Holiday's been out because of COVID protocols, but this is the time when Chris Middleton needs to be stepping up. They lost 5 in a row, and they needed help. And you can see now, Giannis doesn't get as much as the help he needs when he needs that critical moment. So, like I said, I think Zach LaVine is a very well-deserving player in the East. He gets in, hey, Mike, I'll give you $100. I'll say I'm wrong. I'll actually come up on Sagiecenter and say I'm wrong. But I don't see it. So we'll see on Thursday. In the West, of course, the number 1 player that should be already in there in reserve, Damian Lillard, easy. He's in there. Paul George, I definitely think Paul George deserves an All-Star nod this year. In this team, I think definitely Donovan Mitchell is going to get in there. They're number 1 in the West, number 1 in the NBA. I think Rudy Gobert will get in there. If it was in my opinion, I don't think Rudy Gobert should be in there just because he doesn't carry a lot of offensive load. He doesn't have to, unlike other guys like AD and two-way forwards in the league. But I think Rudy was going to get in there just because of what the coaches are going to do. And they're going to have to gift him. They're going to have to gift Utah at least 2 All-Stars, I believe, this year. I believe AD is going to get in there. I know a lot of people are saying AD is not AD this year, and of course he's not. I think AD is averaging like just under 24 and 8 rebounds, about 8-9 rebounds, but about his assists is up a little bit. Still shooting about 50% from the field, but his game, I think he's been slowly coming back in. He's still one of the, I think, top 5, top 10 in defensive win shares and defensive rating in the league. So, again, he's doing that on both ends. So that's part of my reason with Rudy. AD still has to carry offensive load. I don't know when did 24 and 8, did 24, 8, and 9 or whatever is not all-star numbers. It's just up to the standard. It's not MVP numbers for AD. But I think he's going to get in there, but they're eventually, of course, he can't play in the game, so they're going to probably replace him with somebody else. But I think he should get the nod just to get the recognition because he deserves it. And the Lakers are second in the West right now, so they definitely deserve 2 teams. If Utah's going to get two players, and more than likely the Clippers are going to get 2 players who are just right behind them, I think the Lakers deserve 2 players. They used to have teams like the Suns. The Suns deserve, one of them definitely needs to be in there, Chris Paul or Devin Booker. In my opinion, both should be in there. Chris Paul, like I said, I would apologize for everybody for my Chris Paul take in past years, 2 years ago when I was really on Chris Paul. Chris Paul is great, man. And what he's done for the Phoenix Suns, turning them around, I love it. I think he deserves a nod. Also think Booker deserves a nod. And you're just going down the West. I think you're going to have other guys that will get consideration. Christian Wood was somebody I thought, if Christian Wood didn't actually get injured, I would have put him over AD actually in the All-Star game. That's the only person I would put over AD in the West. Just because the way Christian Wood has been playing, lights out, but he's been hurt for almost a month now, about a few weeks now, so I don't think he's going to get a nod. And plus, Houston's been on the skid now, which should help his case, but we all know it's not. So, so those are my All-Star reserves. Again, it's not taken away from anybody. I think Charles Barkley hit on the head. He said winning does factor in. It's not just about going out there and putting up a whole bunch of points and then your team's still losing. Winning does matter. But he said a ridiculous comment by saying that Jordan Clarkson deserves the All-Star nod over AD. Jordan Carson's having a great season, probably 6th man of the year right now, after like 18 and such, but he's not a starter. He doesn't have to hold a lot of offensive weight like AD. So that don't really make sense to me, Charles. But hey, whatever. You have somebody else like De'Aaron Fox who may get a nod. So the West is kind of way more harder because you have a lot of deserving guys than in the East. This is why I believe in NBA rosters anywhere they do have 15 players on a roster anywhere on a regular NBA team. But as an All-Star team, 15 players. So I think they need to expand the rosters a little bit. But hey, man, like I said, was going back to the Zach LaVine point. If he makes it, he makes it. He doesn't, I'm just giving facts, what I know based off of past voting and things like that. Winning does matter. Sometimes they'll put somebody that averages 10 points less than somebody in there over somebody that's averaging 30 just because of a winning team. They did that to Bradley Beal last year. He got in because he's a starter now. So, like I said, we should see. So, go from there. To kind of move forward about this a little bit, we'll kind of, now I'm going to piggyback on the All-Star game itself. It's supposed to be, I believe, not mistaken, the weekend of March 5th or the weekend of March 12th. One of those weekends. But I don't agree with the NBA doing this game, especially in Atlanta. Atlanta's mayor was very worried that the parties is going to be surrounded. And of course, it's something the NBA can't control, and even her control, because people are going to do what they want to do. But I usually don't disagree with the NBA on a lot of things, but this one I disagree on about. One, it being a pandemic. Two, a lot of these players, they barely even get chances to stay home with their families. So you're telling them they have to leave for a day and a half, be stuck in a hotel room in a prime COVID city. On top of that, a lot of them love partying. And you're telling them they have to sit in a hotel in a party city and just overnight and then come in the morning and play, get ready to play a game. That's a lot. I don't think you're taking account of their feelings. I think this is definitely about money. I know I saw Adam Silver's interview with ESPN the other day, And he talked about, of course, it's always gonna come with controversy. But the one thing I do want you to understand, Mr. Commissioner, and I'm a big fan of yours. You also have to take account your player safety. I think Kenny brought up a good point, and it was on TNT. My bad. It was TNT. He did the interview, but Kenny brought up a good point when he was talking to the commissioner about. So you're gonna have the top 24 to 26 players, whatever, with the slam dunk, whatever, in the same city, on the hot zone, and the top coaching staff, and then you're gonna send them out to like their markets, almost 30 markets. One person tests positive. You're talking about contract tracing for your top 24 players in the NBA. How worth it is it? And that's what Kenny was saying. And I guess the commissioner was saying, well, attendance for the All-Star game only really accounts for about 1 or 2% of what the NBA sees. That most of it is from the global. So they wanted to give their global fans something to watch. And I understand that, but I think sometimes you have to take into account your own player safety. Your own, like, this is a risk, because say one of them gets and you know, now you already have to push back games, postpone games into the second half of the season. That's going to be a big issue. That's going to be a big issue, and it's something to watch for. And I hope it works out. You know, knowing the NBA, it's probably going to work out, but hope it doesn't come back to bite them for them just being too big-headed. But again, I don't believe that it should have been in Atlanta. If they really want to do this game, I would just send all of them back to Orlando, put them in their bubble, let their families come with them. Let it be a weekend thing. At least they have the Disney resorts. They bring their kids, their daughters, their sons with them. So I think the NBA dropped the ball a little bit by not making it, you know, a family event like how it used to be. But hey, you know, it is what it is. They're gonna do the game, and the Players Association agreed to it. Chris Paul, you know, like I said, I was just talking about Chris Paul's an all-star, but this is something I definitely disagree with him. I don't even think he really talked to a lot of his star players about this, because all of them have been saying they don't care really about this all-star game, from LeBron James to Kevin Durant to Giannis. It doesn't just make sense. They rather be, especially somebody like LeBron. The man has had barely 30 days of rest and, you know, been away from his family. He went on a road trip for I think a 7-game road trip. I think LeBron would rather just want to be at home in LA, just relaxing. So, again, hey, it is what it is. The NBA decided they're going to do that. You got to do what they got to do sometimes. So, but just moving forward, I think that it's going to be a good game. I think how they're supposed to do it is going to be a one-day event. You're going to have the 3-point contest and skill contest right before the game, which I don't understand the skill contest. I don't really think people really watch it too much, but 3-point contest I understand. I believe already Damian Lillard already said he'll be in the 3-point contest. Won't be surprised if both of the Curry brothers are in the 3-point contest as well. And then you're going to have the game, and then the dunk contest is during halftime. Now, I understand doing the dunk contest at halftime, but one thing about the dunk contest, it hasn't been that good in years. Of course, we had good dunkers recently, like Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, but I think that the days of when we had, it would have been really cold if we could have had, you know, Prime being in that dunk contest right now during halftime and things like that. I think you're going to have somebody like Zion Williamson in the dunk contest. And that's another person I think he's going to get in as a reserve. I'm sorry, I did not say your name, Zion. You are going to get in as a reserve. You deserve it this year. But yeah, Zion will probably be in the dunk contest. I don't know if y'all saw Anthony Edwards dunk. I'm probably gonna play it during this, but you know, yeah. Actually, we're gonna play it now. Go ahead, play it.
Ooh, they were lucky that wasn't turned over.
Oh, that was a nasty dunk.
He does finish.
Woo, that was nasty.
With the
I
exclamation
think he'll get in the dunk contest. Then you're gonna have to name out.
One of them, he got his feelings.
The game to finish up the game second half. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well. Nobody gets COVID. Everybody goes home safely. They're supposed to be flying in private planes in anyway. So we'll see. To shift focus. Something happened in the NFL this week. As we all know, a few weeks ago, Jared Goff was traded to Detroit while Matthew Stafford went to LA. Then Tom Brady won his seventh Super Bowl. And then now another domino just fell. Carson Wentz got traded to the Indianapolis Colts. Eagles didn't really get anything for Wentz, to be honest. I think but hey, if there's a place where he can succeed, and I really wanted him to go to the Colts because I did not want him in the Bears. It was just going to be another bad idea. It was going to be another Jay Cutler situation. If we got Carson Wentz, it would be another Jay Cutler situation. I think if there's anybody that can fix this man, it's Frank Wright, the coach, head coach. When Carson Wentz was having the MVP season, that was his offensive coordinator. And to be honest, the Colts have like one of the best offensive line in the league. So if he can, now he's going to have protection on that blind side. If he cannot succeed in this system, that man is just cooked. So I'm wishing him well. I think it worked out with both sides. For the Eagles, now you have to decide what you're going to do if Jalen Hurts is your man. But the Eagles, I feel, is just a total rebuild now. They just have to tear it down and rebuild again. It's just been a lot. You need to bring back some type of good culture in there. As for the coach, you'll see what happens. So now for my Bears, thank you for not getting Carson Wentz, but it's time to talk about something serious. Deshaun Watson. The Bears have been rumored as a team that could go all in for him. And let me tell you this, Bears, right now. You messed up once by drafting Mitchell Trubisky and trading up. Let me tell you this right now. Matt Jones is a decent quarterback out of Alabama. But if you trade up to go and get Matt Jones or any quarterback in this draft besides Trevor Lawrence, maybe Justin Fields, we're going to have problems. If you're going to trade anything and you want to go all in, put everything on the table. You're going to send Colin, this, that, and third, 3 first-rounders and for Watson and influence him to come to Chicago. Because we have a team now that could win. Allen Robinson wants to come back. So you can bring back Allen Robinson. You still have a dominant defense. And there's even rumored J.J. Watt might end up coming to Chicago because his wife does coach a soccer team out here and she's been influenced and she loves Chicago. So it's a chance he may be here too. And so you go all in for Watson. I know you Bears, you guys don't like black quarterbacks. But let's stop this now. Let's stop this. Like, this man is an MVP candidate. He can win MVP. Watson will win us a Super Bowl. And I'm tired of being with losers. I'm telling you this right now. You're going to do something stupid at quarterback position, and I'm going to trade in my fan card. I've had enough. The Bears are the only team in Chicago I've not given up on. Everybody knows me. I've given up on the Bulls. I've given up shit. I don't care. You call me what you want. A bandwagon fan with other Chicago teams when they're doing well. But the Bears, I've stuck through since I've been a Bears fan. The up and down, the Rex Grossman days, the Jay Cutler days. Never had a quarterback. So, I'm telling you, Bears, don't do it. Do not be stupid. Go and get Deshaun Watson. Do what you got to do. If it becomes available, do it. I don't even. At this point, if we have to trade Khalil Mack as part of the trade, you trade Khalil Mack. Yes, I said it. You trade Khalil Mack. You go and get Deshaun Watson. Go and get him. He's an amazing quarterback. Amazing talent. And I think that he's been taken for granted. Houston has used him very uselessly. I know I talked to my little brother about it. TJ, he mentioned Dallas Cowboys. They would trade Dak Prescott and get Deshaun Watson. But he said from a football standpoint, that's why he thinks it should happen, because they have the Cowboys have a good offensive team, which I agree. But what I'm going to disagree with him about is Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause. Part of the reason why Deshaun Watson wants to be traded is because he doesn't want to just shut up and just play football. Dak Prescott, all he does with the Dallas Cowboys, especially with Jerry Jones being his owner and GM, is shut up and play football. He's been a good boy to Jerry. Even when Jerry came out and said things about Kaepernick, best players kneeling in the flag, did not understand, he stuck by that man. Deshaun Watson is not that type of player. And that's where I don't think why Deshaun would end up in Dallas. because Jerry has a control, and he has a control that he does not want to give up, especially I don't think to a black quarterback. If you can see what he's doing with Dak right now. Who knows if he will respect Deshaun? He should respect Deshaun more, but I don't think Deshaun's gonna end up there. I just don't see it. If he does, it will be great. It'll be great for Jerry because he'll probably get his ring before he dies. But I just don't see it's gonna happen. But for Jerry, go and pay Dak Prescott. Stop being stupid, man. Go and pay that man, please. Stop being the man. Please give the man his money. It's ridiculous. But back to the Bears. Please go ahead. If what you got to do, if you got to trade me, go ahead and trade me. Please get Deshaun Watson, please. But yeah, man. A lot of things is going on. So hopefully things are gonna. You have the new league year coming up. So we're gonna definitely know more as it comes. But like I was saying, man, a lot going on in sports. My last topic I wanted to talk about today, and it's gonna be my last take. The Sagi take is about the GOATs of all GOATs. And there's been a lot of debate. A lot of people have said Serena Williams is actually the GOAT of all GOATs, which not that taking away from Serena. I think she's a top 3, even maybe a top 4 GOAT of GOAT. She's definitely the GOAT of her profession, men or women. Period. That's just me. No matter men or women tennis, you don't get better than Serena Williams. But to say she's the GOAT of all GOAT over somebody like Muhammad Ali, even LeBron James, Michael Jordan, I think that, man, you're getting a slippery slope. I love Serena, and I don't want anybody to think because she's a woman, I'm saying she can't be the GOAT of all GOATs. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm explaining is, one, she plays an individual sport where you have all the control. It's very more impressive to me when somebody, especially in basketball, even football, like Tom Brady, you have to depend on other guys, but you're still able to get there and win. That's a big thing for me. And Serena plays an individual sport. She does well in doubles, too, so let me not say that, but in my opinion, she's not the GOAT of all GOATs. And she just lost again to the young girl. This is actually the 3rd time, man, because Serena is going for her record. Every time she's going for the record Grand Slam, that girl has stopped her the last 3 times. So we don't even know. Serena may retire, actually. She was very emotional after that loss, so we just got to see. But like I said, she's great. She's a GOAT of her own. I just don't think she's the GOAT of all GOATs. But yeah, I want to thank everybody again for joining me again on Sagiecenter. Again, I want to pray for everybody in Texas and around the world that's going through a lot of weather issues. With you guys, please reach out to people you love out there. Make sure they're good. Make sure they got food to eat, electricity, water. We're in this together. And hey, I'm so happy for everybody. Please, people, continue to give me the feedback. I like to get better. If there's different things you'd like to see or just different topics, please. Of course, we're going to have more guests. I just wanted to do this one video just with me right now. And then we're going to continue to build. So I'll catch y'all on the flip side. And this is Sagi out. Bye.